Hi, and welcome to the Backyard Road Trips podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Jim.
So today we have a special guest, but before we get to the reason why she is here, I'll tell you a little backstory, Jim.
Okay.
So I received an email this week from the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business.
Okay.
To see if they would be willing to analyze our guest profiles from the last 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're analyzing.
So they analyzed our podcast. And I guess a lot of the problem is that their results came up that we had primarily white men as our podcast. So to help break the gender barrier here, we invited.
Oh, don't we want to keep getting our federal funding? So now we have to. Your
Jim,
husband,
we've been
Jack.
We've been doged.
Nice.
All of our federal funding has been cut.
You're trying to get me in before they deport me.
So yes, because you're Lebanese background,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
Or is it your Hungarian background?
I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
I think I'd go for both.
See, she's talking. She hasn't even been introduced
white
yet.
people.
So Jim, who do we have here?
Sir? May I call you sir?
At this day and age, they, them, I don't care.
We need to have our Wharton School of Business get on the good foot. So we have
that's right.
Well, my wife, Jackie Rachel Lamothe.
Thank you.
And you've been on here before, but this is a new momentous occasion because we're tipping the balance of our gender identity and our guests.
Yeah, right now 50% of our season, whatever we're in, is now have a female guest. So.
That's true. We won't talk about the next episode. Just have three.
Yeah, that's going to really screw it all up.
Three middle-aged white guys.
That's true. Yeah. Balding or gray hair. So yeah. So.
Boy, I had no idea why I was here.
Yeah, so
this
welcome.
is a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Wow,
making our
this
quota.
makes me feel. You're welcome. I'm here to help in any way.
Just a number. So, anyways,
That's usually what I am.
So we are. I know you were very important in this household. Let me tell you, probably in this episode, you'll have about 3, maybe even 4 screaming children coming to you.
This is probably
and
true.
not to me.
We are recording on location.
We
back
are.
at the famous Zach's house,
Right.
Zach and Jaclyn's house.
Right.
Thank you so much
The
for having
animal
us.
farm.
Thank you for
coming
coming.
up.
The kids are playing under the sink and getting into all sorts of chemicals back there. And when it gets quiet, it just means they probably fell
You know what?
asleep.
They've done it before, so I already know how. I already know the repercussions. So
just
we're
not
all
in the
set.
eyes. Just not in the eyes. That's all I say. So those can blind you with what you eat. I can't help you on that.
Well, me and Teddy are already blind, so we're fine with it.
Okay,
Don't worry about it.
perfect.
Insurance takes care of it.
And you got eye protection on there, so that's all set. So, Jackie, we are here to go back to our root question. Travel. That's not really a question, but I guess why we travel and
it's
favorite
a topic.
travel.
Yeah, to get away from the kids and and other things.
Right, exactly.
I wish I could do that right now at this moment.
pack up our responsibilities. Right.
Yep.
So, Jackie,
Yes.
top trips that you've been on at all times. Let's drop the bomb.
Jeez.
We're gonna.
I mean, there's so many. I don't even know where to begin. But for so many different reasons.
Okay.
I would have to say my first one was actually just the exposure to actually leave the country.
Where'd you go?
Was when you were deported?
Besides that one.
Okay.
This is the second one. No. It was with you, actually. It was up in Quebec City.
Shocking.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I don't consider Bermuda like leaving the country.
It's a different country.
It was, but with my family, it was more Quebec City.
Okay.
And I think because I've always wanted to travel to Europe.
Yep.
And here was kind of like my first taste of that. Just the way the architecture looked. Obviously, people have more of an accent, and I tried to speak my only French word of bonjour.
More of an accent, or actually speak a different language. You mean? But you get off a highway exit to go to get gas or the bathroom.
It's all French, which was great. But I tried, my one word of bonjour, and they knew exactly that I was not French Canadian. And they went right to English, but I just enjoyed it because I just felt like, wow, this is exactly why I want to travel.
That's cool. Did you go during the winter, summer, spring?
Well, it was supposed to be the spring. It was April for our April break. We get there. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's about 60, 70 degrees.
Only 2 nights we did. We did a quick trip.
Yeah. I think we stayed in Vermont.
One night after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long story short, the next day a blizzard came to be about 6 or 7 inches of snow.
Wow.
So we went from spring or summer / to winter. And no one was around. We were the only 2 people out and about, I think, the next day.
Wow.
But it was great. We had a great time. So I think that was my top one.
That didn't interrupt the trip plans at all?
No.
Wow.
I think we were just like this. It was kind of like magical.
Wow.
So we're in this major historic area, and it's exactly what you almost think of, right?
A UNESCO World Heritage Site, to be exact.
Is it?
It is. The old Quebec.
Yes, it is. Yes. So I think that kind of got me started and really intrigued to travel more.
She dipped her toes in the international waters, shall we say.
Nice.
Okay.
So the
trip.
next, I'd say the next one that I really was intrigued by was Innsbruck,
Where is
Austria.
So
Austria.
Okay, so that was the next. Yeah, and you always talk to that place, and that was kind of interesting because kind of Rick Steves' disciples, if you would say, as far as European travel, and he.
Am I allowed to be disciple because I'm a female?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I don't think that's a
Maybe.
gender.
I don't know. I'm
specific
just
word.
asking.
Think so?
Disciplet.
Mary?
Disciplet.
Mary is a disciple.
Mary
Both of
was. She was
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary Magdalene. Well, not really one of the disciples, but
They weren't apostles, but they were
She-
disciples. Yes,
yeah.
you count.
the apostles became the disciples became the apostles. Well, it's the same
four-
term.
Apostles were the
All
original
right, let's
disciples.
come back, boys.
And then-
Let's come back.
Kind of like Thundercracker before Unicron
No.
takes him over,
No,
then
we're
he
not
becomes
going
Scourge.
Transformers.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
No, I feel like
After
we
the
gotta leave
death
it
of
in.
Megatron,
But I like
we
how-
are leaving that.
You understand this.
Everything has going back to my mother's English class. Everything's got a Christ figure.
Oh, okay.
So actually, Optimus Prime would be more the Christ figure.
I was
would
gonna say,
yeah. So
Doesn't he sacrifice himself for the better of
yeah,
everyone
for
else?
the greater
Okay.
good of humanity. And he comes back a few times after.
Okay. So he
Rebuilds
resurrects.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is a good Easter episode.
Easter. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's our next
Transformers as a passion play. So, okay. So yes. So
Back to Innsbruck.
Innsbruck.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing because Innsbruck was not one of our major destinations on that
Right.
trip.
Yep.
Salzburg was. Jungfrau, which is called the top of Europe in Switzerland, a big mountain was.
Well, I made you guys go there.
Yes, that was really one of
I
the
did.
big things.
I
Yeah.
did. That was one thing I said we had to do.
Thanks to Rick on that one too. Rick and Patty, your Aunt Patty.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry,
Can
Aunt
I ask
Patty.
real quick?
Yeah.
Because she just said that she made you go on it. And so if this is not something you wanted to do, were you happy after you went?
I was like, hell no, I don't want to go there. It's not my favorite kind of cheese, that Swiss cheese. So of course, it was just a place that she was very like hell bent on going to. We had planned to go into Switzerland, but she really wanted to take a day to go to Jungfrau.
So yeah, it was going to take a full day
Yeah.
where you start down, at the base of the mountain. It's like 80 degrees, and you take 3 different trains up,
It's cool.
which was awesome. So you get to see all just the hillsides of Austria with all.
Yeah, wait. Are you talking about Jungfrau? That's Switzerland.
to see the real hillsides of Switzerland.
How long was the train ride?
Oh
All
gosh,
three of them?
I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour.
Oh, wow.
It took a while. But you also got to hear the cowbells on the cows going up, which
Oh,
was really
cool.
cool. It's exactly what you almost think of, but
Yeah.
here you get to live it. And then by the time you get to the top, it's like 30 degrees. You're on top of a beautiful glacier. So long story short, we got to go up. It was cold, but you got to look down the mountains and see the glaciers. And it was interesting because it was also this almost like igloo of ice you get to walk through.
Wow.
And it
That
was
sounds
really
beautiful.
neat. It was absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to go up just because I know I'll probably never do it again.
Yeah.
But he, just knowing him, he wants, bang for your buck type of thing. Like, we got to do this.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I'm shocked.
I understand this is going to take basically the entire day, and we still have to drive to our destination.
I was fine with it though.
No, you ended up being fine. At first, you were just a little, I'm not
You
sure.
didn't want to do it. You just said you didn't want to
At
do
first,
it.
I
Yeah.
know.
No, I didn't say I didn't want to do it. I said it wasn't my first. I
Right.
didn't come up with the idea.
Anyways,
Well,
this is the
vision
male
history.
dominance here.
I know. Okay.
But no, his parents and you were like, this was awesome. It was beautiful. It was surreal, I guess you could say.
Sounds
And it
great.
was interesting because people were actually fainting just because of the different air pressure.
Oh, I bet.
So you definitely felt a little like off, but it was one of the most, I think, surreal things I've ever done.
Wow.
Which doesn't make any sense. It's not like I was skydiving or anything like that.
No,
but
it's
just
just-
going from,
Where else could you do that? Not here.
that's true. And, yeah. So I'm really glad we did that.
Did you take pictures?
Oh gosh, yeah.
How long ago was this?
2012.
Say 15
13
years
years
ago. Okay, yeah.
I feel like that was
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But of course, my pictures aren't as good as yours.
Well, no one's pictures were good in
This
2012.
is true. This is
so.
true. So that was amazing. That was
Wow.
absolutely amazing. But no,
Go
Innsbruck.
back to Innsbruck.
Yes,
Yeah. So
sorry.
Innsbruck was just. Well, I'm just saying it wasn't
Commanding
like
you.
Yes,
it
I
wasn't
know.
like a. I was saying it wasn't
Right, it was like a
major
stop. Like, we're going to stop here
Yeah.
because it's in between Salzburg.
Right. It
and-
wasn't
Yeah.
Munich. It wasn't Salzburg.
Right.
It wasn't Jungfrau.
Right.
That's all I was trying to say. Back to Innsbruck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I don't know. I think it's touristy, but it wasn't the destination. And I think because the expectation wasn't as high, it made it that much better. Just the little downtown, just how the glacial river running through the town, it just felt like a livable city, or small city, I guess you could say. And it just kind of wowed me, I guess.
Wowed me.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Just the culture, just the music, I think just seeing the mountains in the background. Again, a lot of places were like that around there, but this one, I think the expectation wasn't there. So I think it just made it that much better.
Was the food up to your standards or expectations?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Zach?
How about you?
I don't remember what I ate in Innsbruck.
I know, isn't that awful?
I think I had pasta the first night. We drove into town late that night. And
because of Jungfrau,
because of Jungfrau, and I think we had a pasta dish. So I think it was good, but it was funny because that area of Innsbruck or of Austria is not too far over from the Italian border.
Yes.
So it's in the Tyrol Mountains, which is right over. We actually went to Italy the next day.
Yes, we did.
Just to say that we
went over there.
We went to a castle in Italy just to go.
Yeah, do you remember the ride over?
Yes, you drove the Brenner Pass.
That was horrible. I will never do that again.
Why?
So the Brenner Pass is this huge bridge, okay, that's going through the mountains. So like the valley's way below you. So you're talking about you must be like, I don't know, 30 stories above the ground.
Wow.
And there's like, all it is the bridge. There's like nothing to the left or the right of you. It's just a bridge. So all you see is you look down, you're like, okay, so if anyone crashes into me, I'm falling to my demise very quickly.
Wow.
So it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
And of course, this is where all the trucks go. Again, their trucks are a little smaller than ours here, but it was just kind of like overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, we have a small little car with.
And then the way back, we went the mountain route instead of the pass.
Which again, I will never do again.
Because it was driving in the
It was driving through the mountains, switchbacks the entire time.
Yeah.
No guardrails.
Just drops.
Ooh.
Tour buses
coming down these mountains.
Motorcycles shooting around.
I'm just
sounds like chaos.
Yeah.
Yes. And who got to drive all this was me.
Well,
not you.
We split the drive, and whenever we didn't know what the drive was going to be like, we drove the whole time: Germany, Switzerland, Austria. And whenever I drove, the drive was easy. Whenever she drove, it was not great.
Pretty traumatic. Oh my gosh! Like I don't even know how to explain to you. It just kind of was like I was holding on to dear life to what the steering wheel, like it's going to.
Were you on like the inside pass, or you on the outside? So like.
Of the
mountain
road.
Of when you were driving on the road, I'm sure was it a 2-lane road?
The mountain road, I think, was a 1-lane road.
Yeah, the mountain.
Oh wow!
Well, it was one way each way, but it should really be a one way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the Brenner Pass was
a big
3?
road. Yeah, it was a large
highway, but
yeah,
I'll never do that again. No, thank you. But no, Innsbruck was.
What was memorable? Okay, how about
definitely.
That was definitely memorable, not for the good stuff. And then, I don't know. I mean, Iceland was phenomenal. Seattle was phenomenal. I don't know. There's a lot of things, but I think those, I can't explain to you. I just don't want to do it again.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm glad we went to Italy for that day. and then we came right back.
And that day was my fault because that was, I was like, okay, well, if we're in Italy, let's just go. We were very close to Italy. Let's just go. And we hadn't been to Italy at that point.
You guys rented a car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's a dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an automatic, or did you have to get like a standard?
No,
drive?
we got an automatic.
Yeah, we paid the extra. We paid the extra.
I didn't know if they even offered them. So yeah,
right.
Thank God they do.
Yeah.
Our 4 European trips, we drove each time.
Yeah,
we haven't done a tour bus. We haven't done that. So and they were all automatic.
That's
cars.
probably a better way to do it, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Or would you wish now
for
that you
us, definitely, yes.
At our age, probably now and then, yes. I see more of my parents' age. They do more of the tours, and that makes sense. You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Any other places that you find that are really, as you say, magical, or that you want to talk about?
I mentioned.
Or keep going.
I mentioned Iceland.
Yeah. But you're mentioning about the grappa.
Oh,
or the schnapps.
Let me come back to that.
She'll get there.
I'll get there. Don't you worry. You're very excited here.
Yeah,
very excited.
That was your input.
No, so in Iceland, when we got there, I didn't get a car.
Right.
As we're driving through, it was so cool because it felt like we're on the moon.
Oh yeah,
it looked like the moon. The dark craters, right, and there's no trees, and I know it's all lava, rock, but it was like I think we're on the moon right now, and it was really cool. I loved it, and just seeing all the springs and just the geothermal fog coming off the ground.
Did you drive at night too to really get that moon feel?
I think we did.
Did we drive it? Yeah.
Northern Lights?
It didn't get light.
We didn't get to see them in August.
It got
I
light
know.
it got dark at like 10:30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It never. I remember one night I woke up at 1:30 to make it a point, and I could
Yep.
still see the sunlight at the horizon. So it never was fully dark in August.
Huh.
So
Right.
when you say dark, yes, but it was still kind of light out. So
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. So yes, but no.
Gotcha.
I guess you could say. So I love that. I mean,
Would you go
was-
back?
to Iceland?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Reykjavik
go back
was
to
the
any of
closest.
these places
Yeah.
besides driving certain areas.
Right. Or at least you know what the drive is going to be like
Yes.
to mentally prepare yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Have
Or
a few drinks to, sort of
Yeah.
loosen
if,
things up.
if it says a tunnel's coming up and you know it's going to be 8 miles long, you know if you're claustrophobic not to go through there. And
Or
you-
just that
switch-
you know what you're
oh, you just know,
drivers.
okay, this is going to be a long way.
Right.
Those 8 miles were very long. But no, so yeah, so some memorable items we were just talking about was, when we're in
Bananas.
banana, yeah. In Italy, I just remember being, we got this little this little boot at what was it, like a little
It's like an Italian gift shop.
yeah. So it's the Italian Coast boot, and it had was it absinthe in it?
It was absinthe,
It was
correct?
it was the real deal,
Okay.
real deal, and we all took a little sip of it.
Did you?
I did not.
Oh.
I chose not
Oh, you
to.
were pregnant.
I was pregnant,
Oh, yeah,
so
I was
that
like-
kind of got me out.
Wow.
And just seeing your face was wonderful. But we realized soon that even though you didn't like it, that when we were leaving, you had to either dispose of it or
Finish it.
finish it.
Mhm.
And so before we went on the plane, you decided to finish it.
Yeah.
Tried
Yeah.
the whole thing.
You did, and I don't think you felt very well afterwards.
I think I was fine. It was
I
okay.
think you were just ready to like.
He doesn't remember any of it.
No,
Jackie
I
has
was
the video.
hallucinating. I think I was riding in a large duck over back.
Did you pour
Probably.
it over like a spoon of sugar?
So
No, I think he just chugged it.
Really?
There's probably half was left, and I
Was
just,
it like a licorice taste?
It
I
was
believe
intense.
yes. I believe it was.
intense. I mean, it
was.
smelled like this is not American. This is the real deal. But no, just different things like just sitting on your parents' porch outside their room into a
In
thunderstorm
Innsbruck.
in Innsbruck,
Mhm.
and just having the schnapps, the real schnapps.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wow, this is the life. Your dad's chugging it. You're
Was he enjoying it?
Yeah, we got like I don't know. I got for the hell of it. It was like a little, couple. I guess you'd probably call them nips. Here. I don't know what the size was there. It wasn't too much bigger than that. I don't think.
no.
And it was just like, oh, let's just try this, and it was pretty horrific.
Yeah.
It was pretty. You know what I mean? It's definitely gonna put hair on your chest. So and
It
again,
did
this
on
is
mine.
Not this is not peppermint schnapps. This
No.
was-
What is schnapps made out of?
I don't know.
That's a great question.
You wrote a
I
book.
know.
You literally wrote the book on distilling
Did you
spirits.
even talk about
None
schnapps?
of them made schnapps.
Huh.
You should
I
make
guess
a
it's
schnapps.
liqueur, right?
You should start doing a schnapps distillery.
Yeah, all right.
There you
Let's try it
go.
out.
See, now you're going to tell us.
Grappa is grapes.
Is it? Your
I
dad?
think.
Yeah, you guys had that too.
We
in
had
Italy.
grappa in Italy, which was just kind of a similar, something that wasn't at least my.
Was it kind of like a
Favorite.
wine, but like a hard or
Yeah, but more
liqueur?
more drink like a hard alcohol.
yeah?
Wasn't up my
This
forte.
thing is made of different fruits. Is schnapps. So
Schnapps is made of different fruits.
yeah, so this would be water of its. Yeah, I'm not sure. Any kind of. I think it's different because you have different fruits, like almost like a brandy. But it was the one that we got. And again, we got it probably at another gift store. It's probably cheap.
Yeah.
Like really, it would probably be drinking like Dubra of schnapps. So I'm sure you can get schnapps that's really good.
Yeah.
The same with grappa. We didn't get really good.
We should do our homework on this. And,
Yeah.
have a schnapps taste.
We should do a schnapps taste test.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Any other places you like to mention on your travels?
I just want to, say that when we got to travel, a lot of it was with your parents, but we didn't stay at like the big hotels. We stayed at like almost like little inns, or it almost felt like more like, someone's home, bed and breakfast type thing.
Yeah.
And I think that actually helped with being immersed in the culture.
Yeah.
The first night in Amsterdam, the cat was running around type of thing. And I remember just being like, oh, this is such a nice thing. Even though, or the next morning we're having breakfast and there's the cat, right?
Get
It
outta
felt
here.
like home. But just how hospitable everyone was. And, And again,
Great.
it wasn't very touristy. So I think we did it as best we could. And kudos to your parents for helping with a lot of that.
Right.
When we went to Iceland, we did more like an Airbnb. We were like in someone's condo, right?
We had to like walk through one building, like floors of one building into ours. It was very strange.
It was very strange how to get there.
Yeah.
But the most memorable thing, and I thought because it was me being pregnant at the time.
It's not the thing of dolls on the ceiling, on the wall.
What?
They had some art on the wall that was all these like scary dolls, like
totally
actual
forgot
dolls.
about
That was
that.
all. Yeah.
I totally forgot
Yeah.
about that. See, that I took out of my mind. What hits
Back
me
now.
is, anytime I took a shower, I just it smelled awful. And I said to Zach, it must be the soap. I said, I think because I'm pregnant, I'm smelling, like this smell, it's like a sulfuric acid smell. I'm like, it must be me or it must be the soap. So I said, we need to go to the store and get new soap. So we went to, was it the Bonas?
Bonas, yeah.
Bonas is like almost like an Aldi's type place.
Yeah, it was a big pig as the logo.
Okay.
So we walked there and we got new soaps. And then the next time I washed my hands or something, I was like, oh, it's still here. Didn't realize the hot water was being heated from the geothermal water. And that's all, it smells
Yeah.
like sulfur.
Yeah,
and
it's
this is
rotten
normal.
eggs. Yeah.
This is normal. And I thought, oh my, like, what is wrong
So
with me?
you weren't drinking the water, or because you think that you would have smelled it with the water?
The cold
Right.
water, no.
Yeah, just the hot.
Just the hot
Yeah.
water.
All
And
right.
didn't know that was going to happen. But again, we're more of like in a condo place that they don't filter out that smell, where in hotels they would. So tourists, so I didn't know this. So it's very normal and it's totally safe and fine. It just was something that I was like, we need to get soap.
And Zach, you didn't.
Oh, I smell it too.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it must be the soap. So I'm like, I'm like, this is awful. I can't do this. And so that's something that I definitely will not forget.
Yeah, no, that was pretty gross. You're getting like, it was a kind of a weird shower. It was dark, I remember.
Yes, I don't think it was.
And it kind of like this like egg smell enveloping your body.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
the
I
whole
can't be coming
condo
out
smelled
smooth.
like it. It was
Right,
like,
yeah.
oh,
It's like, do I
God.
want to take a cold shower or do I want to just do it? So, yeah, that was definitely a quirk.
Yes.
If you're gonna come out stinkier than you went in,
Yeah,
then what's
yeah,
Yeah,
the point?
exactly.
kind of,
Right.
kind of. I was like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So at least it wasn't the soap. So now that if I ever go back,
All right. Well, now
I know
travel
that-
tips with Jackie.
Right, yeah.
it's okay to smell like rotten eggs over there. That's
Yeah.
fine.
It didn't stay on you though. Like,
No, thank goodness.
No,
No.
Just when you
dissipated
came
fast.
back in the condo, you're like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's okay. That's okay. It was worth it. It was worth it. But yeah, I don't know.
So,
Uh-oh.
what about more on the local level? If you would have to say, instead of flying, or should we just not even say, we could say local, or we can even just say in our own country. So are there places that you really enjoy going, whether it's drivable, whether it's places that you've flown?
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, one place that we always end up going back to and still love is just Vermont, the Stowe area.
Of course. Yeah.
Just again, it kind of reminds me of, I feel like the Von Trapp's family, but it reminds me a little bit of Austria. But
Mhm.
again, it just feels so different. It feels like you're not in America, especially if you get off the beaten path.
Yep.
But just mountains, the air, the water, just anything, the rivers, and just going. Like having the kids sometimes just go down the path or just go lead somewhere, and it's
Right.
just kind of still new. We're still finding new things, even though we go to the same area. So that's one I just truly love and
Agree. Me too.
haven't gotten bored of it yet.
Right.
And
And it's
hopefully
great
not.
that it's so close. Like it's not like what is it, like a 4-hour drive? For
Yeah.
you?
Yes,
about 4
yes.
hours.
And we know Boston traffic, so we kind of know like, okay, this is going to be the way it's going to be, but it just gives us a different world, I guess, that we
Yeah.
can go to. As you said, without all the hoops.
Right.
It's funny. Growing up, I used to want the beach, the ocean. Now I have the ocean right in my backyard,
Yeah, right.
and I want the mountains.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
kind of a bit of an irony.
Now, would you, if you had to live somewhere else, like
Mhm.
let's say Plymouth is now annexed.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's underwater.
Where are you moving to?
North.
You'd move to Vermont?
Vermont.
Are you
yeah.
mountain people now?
I mean, probably.
I'm not a skier.
I would certainly do Vermont. I would do back to Connecticut. I would do that as well. I kind of like the idea of, instead of, it's almost like you take for granted what you have, but
Yeah.
we have the walkability to a lot of things here. But one of the things that our house has is a lot of annoying quirks to it, going back to that word, like no storage. And it would be nice to have kind of almost like an old colonial that was nice and nicely done inside with some land, and like a Lebanon or someplace like that. That would be just a very different. So
I think it's funny though that you were just prefacing all this by saying my house has quirks.
Yeah.
I don't want to get an old colonial.
Yeah,
but
an old colonial that
has storage.
That has there's things with this, like this house. I wanted a fireplace. There's no fireplace. There's things that I would look for that I would need to have in a house.
And you're cool with accepting some of the other stuff. It's your dream thing anyway. So
exactly.
You get to pick up.
I mean, how the kids' rooms are basically attached. There's they can't go to sleep because they're all beating the hell out of each other all night.
Imagine when they're going to be 15 and 16.
I know. Yeah.
I think they're going to they would do that no matter what.
Yeah.
If they had separate rooms, you guys should contain them more. But we can argue that later.
Okay.
So Vermont. So I know I agree with you there.
I think when I've been to the West Coast to different parts of California,
right.
San Diego, San Francisco, then almost 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Seattle.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to. I know this wasn't Oregon, but I've always wanted to go to Oregon, and here we got to go to Seattle, Washington, and that was absolutely beautiful. So,
yeah, Seattle's the whole area is pretty magical.
Yeah, I mean,
your word again.
I don't know about magical. I think it was just more intriguing because it just felt comfortable. Whether I don't know, just very accepting of no matter what, whether the kids are screaming or not screaming, or I felt like I don't know. I felt very accepted, and with that, I felt like this could be home type of thing. Does that make? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no,
but it was very eclectic, and I liked that, and just getting around was very easy, and just I don't know. It was like each neighborhood was very different in itself. Of course, the coffee was amazing. I've become like a coffee connoisseur for myself. I feel like, and we made it a point to. Any destination or any morning or wherever we were, let's try this coffee place. And it wasn't Starbucks. We got to go buy the original one, but man, that line, I think they cut off. So like whenever they closed, the line's like way down the block, and they had to tell people, this is where the cutoff is just to go into this little Starbucks area. But it was just those kind of things. And the kids really were phenomenal. And I think that helped a lot because they really, they talk about it. They talk about it and stay. It's still their favorite place.
Wow. More than Disney World.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
there's also a mix of the city and the national. We went to North Cascades.
Yes. Yep. And that's a less known one, which was very easy. So bless you, we were going in. It seemed it was interesting because it was a camp place. There was like the hydroelectric power lines, which was like interesting. But then as we got in and just seeing the water, the glacial water was. I can't even describe to you the color, but just exploring different areas and being able to do that. So even though there were tourists, it wasn't insane.
It's not like Yosemite, which is like you need to see El Capitan, you need to see the waterfall, you need to see, it's one of the parks that you just
go.
You go, and I know your cousin she lives up there and has really been able to just explore the park. I mean, of course, these are huge, but I mean, we did the super tour version, but let's just get off this and see.
But I think they loved the kids. We got to go like swim in a swimming hole, I guess you'd say, and got to swim in the glacial water,
That's so
little
cool.
beach area, which they thought, like, how cool is this?
Oh,
and that
you'll
was
never do it here? Yeah.
Well, that was something to spur of the moment. You know, like if I can find a parking space, we'll do it. If not, sorry, kids. And we found a spot, and I don't know if it was legal or not, but but then we got to drive to Leavenworth.
Okay.
About an hour and a half away, and talk about it was like 100 degrees that day.
And in Seattle, it was like 75.
I know, yeah. It was 100 degrees.
110, I believe it went up to.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really hot. And long story short, it was like a German town.
Yeah.
I mean, half it was German, half it was English, and it looked like a German town, like Omer Ammergau that we went to in Germany, which was beautiful. And the kids loved it. It was hot, but at least they had to have gingerbread, right? Mm-hmm. That was kind of cool. We got to drive by because it was too late to see the reindeer farm, those kind of little things, but it was really cool. So nice. I don't know, Seattle was a place that I felt.
Seattle sounds like it's a better fit for y'all guys because it's got the walkability, but it's got mountains and it's got the ocean and everything.
It's got coffee. Let me tell you, and the flying fish, obviously at Pike Place. But
what about? So we're talking about some larger trips. How has your transition been from globe trekking to backyard road tripping because of the little children we hear in the background.
You mean not because of you? No, I'm just kidding. I've adjusted much better than you.
I'm maladjusted. Yeah, because you don't talk about travel. I mean, that's what's so interesting. Like
I have talked about one place, which goes along with one of the other questions, is going to England and Ireland. That's one thing that I've been really wanting to do.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for next summer. It was supposed to be this summer. Now it'll be next summer. Hopefully it will be.
I think it was supposed to be last summer, actually. It was
supposed to be somewhat. So I think because I know how much goes into everything,
sure.
Not just the planning for us two, but each of them are different species, I'm going to say. So I'm planning for, I feel like, 5 different trips in one trip, it feels like. So it's a lot of coordinating.
And the cost.
Yeah.
Well, the cost is besides the cost. Let's just put that aside for a minute. And I'm trying, the older one, Danny, is adjusting very well to traveling. The middle one, Tommy, is my unpredictable one. So it kind of limits us that way. Trying to find milk or whatever it is, or it's too hot, too cold, I can't walk. So yeah, I'm fine whether it's for the day we go somewhere, like to a museum in Boston, or, a few night trip to, we're going to go up to New Hampshire in a few months. So that kind of stuff. So I'm more adjusted. And I'm okay with it because we're still trying to get to different places that maybe I haven't been to in a while or still haven't been to. Like we're going to Bar Harbor in May, which I've only been to once, and that was, 10, 12 years ago? So
11? No, 13. It was whenever the marathon
bombing happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so 12 years ago. So yeah, I'm good with it. For now.
Going into a little bit, though, I feel like you were the queen of the backyard road trip before we even came up with this idea. So one of them, going back to Harpswell, Maine, back a long time ago.
Gosh, when was that?
2009, I would say, maybe 2010, something like that.
One of the first times I met your
11,
parents, right?
Something, yeah. So it's been a while.
Oh God.
And with it, you found, Harpswell, it's not really the megalopolis, let's just say. There's not so much to do in Harpswell. I mean, it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
By the water, the peninsulas, everything, but you were able to find like the giant staircase, all these different things that you wanted to go see in this relatively small town that we hadn't come across at all. But now it's kind of like you're feeling like you're too busy. Do you wish you had some of that time back?
Well, of course I do. It's kind of a bittersweet, because I get to do things here and be, kind of have my role as a mom or wife, I guess. Well, it was interesting. It was one of the first times I think I met his parents. I'm not sure. And I was obviously trying to impress them at the time. So I drove up by myself, and I remember stopping at some liquor store. And I was like, oh, I know they like beer. And I remember just talking to the owner there and saying, look, this is what's going on. I'm up here. I've never been up here. I'm, trying to impress. Didn't know at the future in-laws at the time.
Yep.
And, just told him about how Zach likes beer. His dad is a, beer connoisseur. And he led me into buying a 4-pack of, I think it was Celebrator. Zach, is that right?
He says yes.
I don't know if they've ever had it or not, but they were when I brought it, they were like, wow, this is the best thing in the world. So I was like, all right, score for me.
Yeah, big points.
So yes, and I had no idea. But I think looking, what I tend to do, and I think I did this up in Cooperstown last year, is I'll look up, research online, I'll look in books, and then I'll even look at like maps, the correct Google Maps, not the American version. And I'll, zoom into places and find little places that I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me look down that. And I kind of go down different rabbit holes. So it's not just what Foders or, Rick Steves would write, but it kind of leads me into different destinations.
Yep.
And I think with that, I found the giant staircase, which again,
that's cool.
From a lot of local people know about it. But in order to find it, it's very difficult. But even little things where I used to be very intrigued finding town pounds.
Town pounds? That was a hobby of yours?
It was.
This is how you spend the time?
It was.
Hey, Zach, I found the new town pound, she says.
I would say. I
we gotta go check out the dogs they're going to kill.
We were
great.
driving in Harpswell, and I found one. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, oh yeah. There's one in Dedham. There's one in Wayland. There's one in, I'm trying to think, Dover. There's one in.
Tell them about the lobsters?
Town pounds.
Oh, the lobsters, yeah.
Oh, lobsters.
So it was those kind of things. And his parents were like, what? And I was like, no, we have to stop here. It's a town pound. We got to take a picture. So you know what it was for? So anyone whose livestock got loose, the townspeople would bring it to this pound, which is just basically not a brick wall, like a stone wall, like a square, and it usually had a tree around it for shade. Yep. And they'd put them into this pen until the people came to find their livestock. Which is kind of funny. So I was very intrigued by this. But that vacation, his parents were very funny because I've never really had lobster before.
Okay.
I was always scared of trying it.
All right.
So they were literally staying on a house right next to a lobster pound, and so they went and got lobsters, steamed them and all that stuff. This is before I got there. And so Zach told them to kind of do a joke on me. And at the time I didn't know. So we're sitting down for dinner and everyone gets their lobsters, they get their crackers and all that kind of stuff. And his mom, of course, serves everyone their plates and I get peanut butter and jelly. And I said, oh, well, thank you so much. This is wonderful. And they're all sitting there starting to eat their lobster and I'm eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And of course, I can't. You can't say anything. And then they're like, oh, just kidding. Here's your lobster. I go, oh, okay. And his mom always brings it up because she goes, you were just so polite. Like, it didn't phase you. I'm like, well, I didn't.
What else are you going to do?
I know. I don't know.
Where's my damn lobster?
Give me back the celebrator beer. I'm leaving. I'm going to go sit in the town pound myself. But so that was funny. That was very funny. Yeah.
So what did you think of the lobster since it's your first time?
Oh, I love it. So now we made a tradition out of it.
Oh, yeah?
So every Christmas Eve, we order down from our local Woods lobster seafood place. And now we have lobster for Christmas Eve dinner.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So that's our new tradition. We've been doing it for 10 years,
nice.
I'd say.
What a good tradition.
It is a great tradition. Expensive, but great.
You can hear more about that on our Christmas traditions.
That's right.
Holiday
Next
traditions episode.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, hence the tree. I know the beer tree's still hanging, but the beer's gone.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you for sharing your wonderful adventures with us.
That was well stated. Thank you.
It was well stated.
Well, I'm looking at the questions. I think you answered all the questions.
Oh, good. I did a nice job.
Bucket list destinations. You're saying would be England and Ireland.
Right now, yes.
Without the kids or with the kids?
It's going to be with the kids.
He'll just yell louder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's going to be with the kids.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
He'll love it.
I'm going to love it. I'm going to make sure we love it. How's that? Either someone's going off the cliff of Mars or it's either me or them. I'm not sure which one.
Wait, Cliff of Mars?
It's not Mars. The coffee.
More.
Someone's going off that.
Over.
A little Irish coffee this morning for Jackie.
Yeah. You know what? Someone's got to do it. Or the grappa.
With the 3 kids? Yeah, of course you do.
That's right. Well, Jackie, thank you for filling our female quota for the year.
Hey, anytime, anything I can do to help.
Star.
Thank you.
At least this episode.
All right. So really appreciate it. For Backyard Road Trips, I'm Zach.
I'm Jim.
I'm Jaclyn.
You can find us at backyardroadtrips.com and on all your favorite social media platforms.